Hi, my name's Dave, and this is my 10-minute research presentation, and it comes out of a research paper I did as part of my kinesiology diploma. It's only 10 minutes, so that's not long. So there may be times where you want to pause the video to take something in or think about it more deeply, or to better read the screen. What you'll need with you is a pen and some paper, and of course a good attitude. What I'm going to be looking at is fatigue and how it might relate to our breathing. To get going, I want you to count your breaths, just to see where you're at with your cycles per minute. So sit comfortably, and for 20 seconds I just want to count your cycles. Are you ready? Go. Okay, well that was for 20 seconds, so times that number by 3 and write it on your page, and there the number of cycles you are currently doing per minute. I'd like you to meet Numa. Numa is a client that came to see me, and she wanted to work on her fatigue. Numa can be described as a female, 21 years old, a student. Numa had past significant trauma and past glandular fever, and she was of average height and weight. Her symptoms included chronic tiredness. She was stressed. She had sore and aching muscles. She wasn't making good decisions. She was irritable. She seemed to be always getting the flu. Her concentration was poor, and her motivation was low. So fatigue, what do you know already? If you'd like to take a minute and even pause the video, though I know no one ever really does that, do they? I'd like you to jot down your definition of fatigue. What do you know already to be the symptoms, and what do you know to be the causes of fatigue? Here's what my research found. Fatigue, also referred to as tiredness, exhaustion, lethargy and listlessness, describes a physical and or mental state of being tired and weak. Although physical and mental fatigue are different, the two often exist together. If a person is physically exhausted for long enough, they will also become mentally tired, and vice versa. Chronic fatigue, or chronic fatigue syndrome, is a debilitating disorder characterized by extreme fatigue or tiredness that doesn't go away with rest and can't be explained by an underlying medical condition. There's a list of the symptoms. The ones with the asterisk are the ones that Numa was showing me. Now, causes. My research showed that the big causes of fatigue or chronic fatigue are genetic predisposition. There's some evidence to suggest that. Acute or chronic infection, glandular fever, Ross River fever are examples of that. Exposure to toxic chemicals, pollutants or heavy metals. There's research that suggests that. Immunisation. Some reports following some vaccinations show a connection with chronic fatigue. And severe physical or emotional trauma. According to David Corby, in our manual clinical conditions. He adds this to the list of causes: an incomplete Krebs cycle, anemia from insufficient iron or B12, intense physical or mental activity, dehydration, poor sleep, and poor pulmonary function. From a TCM perspective, we need to think of a deficiency of Qi or blood or yin or yang, in which case the client will feel more fatigued later in the day, or stagnation, in which the client will feel worse in the morning. So, kinesiologically speaking, what can we offer someone with fatigue? Well, there are a few possibilities, of course, and again, my research is coming in on the breath, but I know you're thinking, what else can I be suggesting? Biochemically, there's diet, nutritional deficiencies, there's toxicity, there's allergies, there's adrenal stress. Psychologically, hydration comes under that psychological column. Stress and anxiety, emotional issues, electromagnetic, heavy metals, solar plexus chakra, HCF3 jiao, and flow to the meridians. Structurally, and what I want to focus on now, is breathing. It doesn't come under our sheet of digital indicators, the breath. However, it seems a pretty structural thing to me. Let's go back to Numa. Numa, I noticed, was taking a big sighing breath every 20 minutes or so. I also observed her breathing and saw that it was shallow. I counted her breaths and there was 21 cycles per minute, which I think is normal for a 3-year-old. And I noticed that her chest appeared tight and drawn in. Now, how is fatigue related to our breathing? Bad breathing patterns. My research showed that more than half of people with chronic fatigue develop a distorted pattern of breathing. So not everyone with chronic fatigue, but half is a significant number. And when people are breathing in a shallow way, the oxygen is getting in fine, but with every out breath, the CO2 is being emitted, and it's that lack of CO2 that's not allowing the oxygen to be released into the mitochondria at the cellular level. So it's not only we're not getting enough oxygen, we're not getting enough CO2. And of course, there's an effect on the autonomic nervous system. Go back to your cycles per minute. How many did you calculate? And then where do you fit on this graph? Homeostasis is about 5 cycles per minute. If there's more cycles per minute, up to 30 there, remember Numa was at 21 in the severe range, we're really operating in the sympathetic range. And of course we know what that means. It may be that you were only 1 or 2 cycles per minute, in which case you may not have fatigue, but you're definitely operating in the parasympathetic area. More likely you're in this moderate range, I would guess. And it does seem that a lot of people live their lives with an overactive sympathetic nervous system. Of course, we know what that means. We're preparing the body to fight or flight or freeze. Our heart rate is increasing and our force of heart pump is greater. We're increasing our number of breaths. We're decreasing our digestion, which is not helping with our nutrient intake and our fatigue, and our alertness is increased. If we're in the parasympathetic, of course, it's the other part that's been emphasized, where the body is free to feed and breed, rest and digest. Our heart rate is slowing, our breathing is slowing, our digestion is increasing. A better place to be dealing with fatigue. So, as a kinesiologist, with someone coming with fatigue, breath is not always going to help, but it does seem that a significant number of people will be helped by looking at their breath. Chronic fatigue is a condition where there's low energy for a long time. Shallow, frequent breathing is often a symptom, which is related to less oxygen getting to the cells of our muscles and an out of balance autonomic nervous system. If this is true, then retraining our breath can work against these two symptoms, getting more oxygen to where it's needed, stimulating the vagal nerve and bringing balance to our autonomic nervous system, allowing for better digestion, better rest, and less stress. Of course, at the very least, we're asking our clients to breathe more deeply from their belly and more slowly. Of course, we all enjoy some kind of structure to help us with that. So here's a couple of ways that we may direct our clients. Ujjayi breathing, been practiced for thousands of years, and it's a kind of restricted, audible breathing, a bit like Darth Vader. There's a link there that will show you how to do Ujjayi breathing. Qigong is something that we've explored a little bit in our course. It's a holistic system of coordinated body posture, movement, breathing and meditation. And here's a link to 4 movements that will help with the breathing. Of course, the smartphone apps. I've got one here that I use, and it's called Prana Breath. And there's, of course, many settings that you can do. This is a relaxed setting. It's a 7-minute cycle, and it guides you through an in-breath, an out-breath, and then a pause. It goes like this. So you may want to try one of the various smartphone apps to help you and all your clients. To finish with, I'd like to explore an equal breathing exercise. David Corby, in his great book Finding Joy Within, suggests a number of good breathing exercises. Here's one to finish with. It's called Equal Breathing. It involves breathing in and out of your nose for the length of your breath count. It helps improve breathing capacity, raise immunity, improve concentration and focus, and increase energy and vitality. It's a relaxing exercise best done first thing in the morning. So first of all, get your breathing cycle. The number you wrote down on your page, I want you to halve it. And then I want you to take away 2. That is your breath count. Your aim is to breathe in and out through your nose for your breath count. If your breath count was 4, then you breathe in for 4 seconds and out for 4 seconds. Do your best to make it constant, even and smooth. I'd like you to do 5 cycles straight after this presentation. So there you have it. One way that we can help our clients with fatigue through deep, regulated, beautiful breathing. Thanks for listening.